Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to start with the pleomorphic adenoma. So I've already made a video through which you can learn the mnemonics of the salivary gland tumor classification. If you haven't watched the video, please do watch that video. Will make this chapter very much easier for you. Let's start with the first case, that is the pleomorphic adenoma. So here, adenoma. What do you mean by adenoma? I already told you in the last video that adenoma means a benign condition, okay? It is not that dangerous condition. So the first thing is that the pleomorphic adenoma is a benign neoplasm and it is not going to show any kind of malignant properties. Now, what are generally the malignant properties? Ulceration, excessive bleeding, excessive pain, all these kind of conditions are your malignant properties and which are not seen in the pleomorphic adenoma generally. Now, it is also said to be a mixed tumor. This is the other name for the pleomorphic adenoma. Sometimes the question can come like write about the mixed tumor, so you should remember both the names. So it generally exhibits two kind of cells. That is the reason it is said to be a mixed tumor. The epithelial cells, also said to be the ductal cells, are present, and another one is your mesenchymal cells. If we talk about the epithelial cells or the ductal cells, so these are basically the cells which are lining your salivary ducts. If this is your salivary gland and these are the ducts, then the cells which are lining the ducts are said to be the ductal cells or the epithelial cells. Moving ahead in the picture, you can see that this area below the ear, below and behind the ear, is where your parotid gland is usually situated, and you can see the swelling in this region which has disturbed the regular structure of the face. There is the symmetry is completely disturbed in this particular case, which is an example of your pleomorphic adenoma. So this is generally taking place in the parotid gland, can also occur in the submandibular gland sometimes, but is never going to occur in the sublingual glands. Okay, so these are the two major glands which can be affected, the parotid gland and the submandibular gland, and this kind of facial asymmetry can be seen, and there is excessive swelling which is seen. So you see in the picture itself, this is your parotid gland and this is the tumor. So there is a tumor inside the parotid gland. Now, looking at some clinical features, what are the features which will be seen in the patient if it comes to you clinically? What you can see is the female predilection of the disease will be there. It's not that it will not occur in the men. It will occur in men, but majorly it will be occurring in the females. Now, age which is usually affected is 40 to 60 years of age. If you will look at the tumor, it is generally irregular nodular lesion, and the initial size or generally the size which you find is 1 to 2 centimeter. The diameter is going to be 1 to 2 centimeter, but sometimes it can grow up to several kgs also. Now, ulceration, of course it is seen in the malignant condition, but as we are talking about the adenoma here, so no kind of ulceration will be seen. The consistency of the tumor is going to be very firm, rubbery, and irregular and fleshy consistency, which means it is going to be smooth as well as it will have good elastic properties. Difficulty in mastication, speeching and breathing. Of course, the masticatory muscles, the TMJ, everything is being restricted due to this tumor, so your mastication is affected, your speeching is affected, and also breathing becomes difficult. If we look to the color can sometimes be in some cases it can be hemorrhagic tan, and in some cases it can be white color. Moving ahead, as you can see in the picture itself, this is your parotid gland and this particular thing is your tumor. Now this tumor is a 1 centimeter tumor, and you can see the structure here is so irregular. There is no well circumscribed boundary here in this case, and this is a irregular nodular lesion kind of structure. Now in the second picture here, you can see the lesion size or the tumor size is so huge, which is almost the same size of the patient's face. So this is what I was telling you. It can be 1 centimeter to 2 centimeter, but in severe cases, if not treated at time, it can grow up to several kgs. Moving ahead to the microscopic features. Now the major microscopic features we are supposed to look at are the ductal and the myoepithelial cells, which are being seen in form of sheets and strands. So these cells are basically can also be arranged in form of sheets, and sometimes they can also be arranged in form of strands. If you see, this is the tubular structure here, if you can just make out. So this tubular structure, usually inside it in the center it is containing some eosinophilic coagulum which is seen. Then you have these star-shaped cells known as myxoid area. This light pink color structure here is the osseous area. Then all of the rest of the structure is going to be a connective tissue and the chondroid area. These are the major microscopic features which will be seen. Coming to the MRI scan, if you generally diagnose this case in an MRI scan, this kind of structure will be seen in the scan, which denotes that there is any kind of cyst or any kind of tumor here. Now in some cases you can generally confuse this with a dentigerous cyst, but here in this case this is a pleomorphic adenoma. Coming to the last part of this topic, that is the treatment. If the diagnosis is being confirmed, how are you going to treat the patient? The only treatment plan which we have is the surgical excision. Through surgery, we will be removing whole of the tumor, and that is the only solution we have got. Now, if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button and share this video with your friends. Thank you so much.